Welcome to episode 73 of In Touch with iOS, a podcast that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies, plus tips, apps, and gear. I am your host, Dave Ginsburg, and my brand new co-host this week and in future weeks is Warren Sklar. Welcome to the show, Warren.
Hey, Dave. Thank you for having me. Thank you for permanently or semi-permanently having me.
This is something we did send out a tweet, or I sent out a tweet last week, and everybody should be aware now that Warren is going to be a proud part of our show going forward. He's going to be our co-host, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Warren and I, as you could tell with past episodes he was on. Actually, he was on the last episode, so we kind of kept it in sync here. So he has a lot of knowledge of IT as well as I do. We definitely have a lot of great things we can bounce off each other. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. You know, one thing I didn't mention, you do a lot of reviews on mymac.com. You review a lot of like products, and I think that's a lot of fun. Although I haven't seen anything on there. I haven't seen much on there lately because I think last I saw was like October 31st. So. But have you been doing a lot of products lately? Or?
Yeah, for some reason I don't know how it happened, but I there was a call out if anybody wanted to do product reviews, and I'm like, hey, I like getting free stuff, and I'm like, I've never done it before, and this was a couple of years ago. I'm like, how hard can this be? And I do like part-time work and I have the time to do it. So they started sending me some stuff to review, and I started doing it, and they liked what I wrote. And I kept it, you see some reviews that are like really like all over the place, but are good, but mine are basically the smost format. I just go through the setup process, the ease of use.
Yeah, no, it was great.
And then that's it. So, for the most part, it's been great. A few places want their stuff back. A few things that you get are like just impossible to write a review on, but you have to try like a dongle. How much can you write on a dongle? You plug it in and it either works or doesn't. So, so it's fun. So, anyways, it was fast and furious for a while, and it's kind of slowed down, but they still kind of go to me first. Okay.
Yeah, I think the last one I saw was your Kodak, which I was surprised to see a product that has branded by Kodak, but that lens with the tripod. And it was expensive, $70.
It's $70. It's sitting on my kitchen table. Yeah, and
they don't want it back.
They don't want it back, and my wife doesn't want it in the house. That's the other part of it, is all this stuff that comes in the house.
Yeah, you start shipping stuff to me. I know you shipped a couple things. I should tell you that. But
yeah, well, Guy actually said he might. He in his show, he's like, "Oh, that sounds cool." I might just send it to him. Yeah. It's actually weird because I've never used a clip-on lens on any of my iPhones before, and so it was kind of neat to try it out. But with the iPhone 11 Pro with the multiple cameras, it's kind of hard to figure. There's a bunch of cameras. So
I was gonna say, how are you gonna put it on one of the three lenses? So
there's one main lens, but it's kind of covers some of the others, so then you don't get some of the effects. So it's kind of a pain. Yeah, but it's a good time.
So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that, so everybody can kind of get to know you a little better. And as I've mentioned, of course, you're on the Mac to the Future Facebook page for those who are on Facebook, and we'll mention all your stuff at the end of the show. But I'm super stoked you're here. We're gonna have a lot of fun for the future, and a lot of great things to talk about, because we both are very passionate about iOS, iPad, iPhone, Apple TV, the whole shebang. So we're gonna have a lot of fun here. So we got some news stories we're gonna talk about this week, and we've got three topics, and this will probably be a pretty full show here today, I think. I have the AirPods Pro, so I'm gonna give my review of them. And people have been waiting to hear about that because I had tweeted out that I got them, and I bought them the first day they came out, and we'll get into that in a minute. Streaming services, as we record this today, Disney Plus is now out in the wild, and we're going to talk about streaming services in general. Apple TV, of course, came out November 1st. So we hadn't talked about that yet since the last episode. So, and then CarPlay. I want to give some CarPlay experiences. You had experience with your son, and you purchased a new car, and I had experience by renting a car and drooling over CarPlay and wanting to have it in my car, but I just have to hold back and
It's
I'm
hot.
happy with my car, and we'll get into that. And then we got some tips and tricks and some potential picks. So it's gonna be a full show. So let's go ahead and get started here. And the first story I was going to talk about is, what a surprise! iOS has another release. I mean, I think we talked about this on the last episode and I reviewed 13.1, 13.2, 13.1.2.1, 13.2. I mean, is it ever going to end? I just don't know. So this latest release, this was back last week, as we recorded this, Apple did release 13.2.2, which updates 13.2 software, which was released October 28th, but this was also released the following week on November 7th. And what it was supposed to fix was the fact that I had some minor updates and performance improvements and some bug fixes, as well as issues that were not addressed in the major release. What do you think of this? Because I think this is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember an update cycle like this in at least ever. So it's generally it seems more like a beta update cycle for public
Seems like it.
release. Yeah. So yeah, the 13.2 or the
That's
one
where we're at
before
now,
this one.
13.2.2.
So but the 13.2 was a big one, obviously, that brought in the I mean, if I was an iPad, not because, well, I'm on beta, but if I was not on beta and I had an iPhone Pro,
Right.
I would be a little ticked off that I don't have this great camera feature that they advertised during the keynote for, it was almost 3 months from, right? I mean, the phone came out September-ish, October, November, about 2 months before you could actually use the Deep Fusion.
Right.
So, I
Deep
mean,
Fusion.
that's the thing. I mean, that would bother me. But, it's still, it's not as buggy as everybody says it is, but it still has problems every so often. I get.
I'm just perplexed. I just don't understand what this is not. This is not something normal of Apple to have buggy software like this. They've been pretty solid with iOS in the past, and it's kind of a shame that it's happening.
We'll talk about the betas.
Of course, we'll spin right into the next story, which is beta, and then of course, as we talked about last time with you, you're a big beta guy. So and as well as I beta tested on other devices I have, that Apple did see. Actually, it was actually today as we record this, the second beta of 13.3. And as I was 1 week after the first beta, so they're being aggressive, getting a lot of releases. Did you already update it, I assume, on all your devices?
Yeah. So today was iOS, Apple Watch, and Apple TV betas were out.
Right.
They seem to be weekly as well. Well,
yeah.
macOS seems to be maybe bi-weekly or maybe on a Thursday weekly. So, I don't ever really notice any differences between, because I stay on the public releases too, and then I go to beta, so I swap back and forth, and I don't see anything crazy different between the beta and the regular release. So I'm on the 13.3 something now, and I still see the same thing. I still get some issues here and there, but the thing is, I think after iOS 13 came out, the betas seem to be almost more stable than what's dropping to the public for the most part, which is just backwards. Usually it's almost like you're living on the edge, not going on betas at this point. And there's a lot of people who have issues with their iPad or iPhone, and like have to bite my tongue to say, join the public beta program and might fix it, but you can't do that as an IT guy because you just can't. But
with all the advice that you give out on Mac to the Future's Facebook page, of what I see every day of your responses to some of these folks, you got to be careful with that, because not everybody's going to jump on the beta. But it looks like it says there was one issue, is a multitasking issue. There was an issue was going on in 13.2, and RAM management, things like YouTube and Safari had to reload more frequently than normal. They mentioned that in the article. article. We'll have a link in the show notes, of course, from Mac Rumors is talking about it. So
I never saw that behavior, but that was a big complaint. Is if you had YouTube open and then you switch to Mail and then back to YouTube, to swipe back YouTube and start like it just opened rather than where you left off, and
yeah,
it kind of happened like that. So people were up in arms about that, but
of course,
I could test it, but I don't treat I generally don't treat my iOS devices as computers like that.
Right.
I'd rather jump on my Mac and do that kind of stuff and switch around.
And we do. We have Macs, we have iPads, we have iPhones. We just have fun, have at it. So that's the two news stories we had. Let me kick right in. I wanted to really talk about my first topic, which was the AirPods Pro. You did not buy a pair of those, right?
I did not. They might end up under the tree.
Okay, because you got, as we can see each other, I see you have the old version of the AirPods, and of course you see them in my ear. Those are the new AirPods. I have to tell you that I'm absolutely loving them. I mean, I think this is the best thing that Apple has ever made in the earphones and headphones line, even with Beats. I mean, I can't compare the Beats Pro because I just could not stomach buying the Beats Pro wireless like these. I've seen some comparison discussions. I know Macworld did a review of a comparison of the two, and I think they were leaning still more towards the AirPods Pro, frankly. But couple of things that really stand out on it, of course, is the rubberized cups for your ears. So now you have 3 choices of sizes that'll go through, and you pick one that'll fit the best. And one of the weirdest things with the ear cups, and again, since you hadn't tried them yet, when you pull them off, it almost feels like you're going to break them. I mean, you pull this air cup off, it's like, oh wow, that didn't feel right. Because especially you want to be careful with a $250 pair of AirPods. You know.
Are you talking about breaking the AirPods or breaking your ear off by?
No, breaking the AirPods
stuck in there.
Because because if you take when you get the AirPods out for the first time and you want to pull off that cup, you got to pull it pretty good to get the things to snap it off, and then it snaps right back on. With the next size up, and I had to do that because I had to try the different sizes to get it to have the right fit. And then the other thing too is I'm thinking about with these air cups is I wonder if third party companies, if they haven't already, come up with their own air cups that you can use, because Apple did not make it proprietary, so someone could manufacture these air cups if you wanted other sizes beyond the 3 that come with it. The tips, do they typically like the other not the Apple ones, but they're sort of like I guess it's like a ridge around the top of the plastic piece, and then like you put a rubber piece on there and it's kind of snaps in. Is it sort of similar? It is. I'm pulling out. So obviously this isn't going to help for an audio podcast, but I will pull out the little kit that you can see from what I have here. It comes with a little packet, and then it already has one set of cups installed. Here's so you can see this. Here's the cups that are on there, and then when the ones I just changed it to, I mean, it's going to be pretty hard to see for you to see it, but it looks similar to basically what you get with the other kinds of headphones. It's got the it isn't
rubber
anything
thing,
different.
just wrap it around there. Yeah.
Other than they snap into place and away they go. So that's one of the things that I was very impressed with is I did find a set that fits. I mean, with the AirPods, the original AirPods and then the AirPods, the second gen, you're set with the size. If it doesn't fit, then you're out of luck, and then you got to return it, because it's just, and then not everybody's ears are different. So I guess what Apple did was they went through and did all kinds of testing. They actually had people test the different sizes, I guess, and they got an assessment of the average size ear for all 3 sizes that they assessed when they finally came down to the final sizing. So I found that to be interesting. But let's go to the sound part of it. The sound in itself, incredible. I mean, you have 2 modes. You have an off mode. So right now I'm listening to you, Warren, while you're talking to me, but I'm not listening back to myself, because otherwise it'll drive me nuts on a podcast. But when I hear you, I have it set into what's a mode called transparency mode, and you have access to this on your iPhone or any other device, even on your Mac. Because if you're using it on your Mac and you click the sound and you bring up the AirPods, you're going to have the choice between off, transparency, or you're going to have noise cancel. You definitely tell the difference. Now, transparency, someone asked me, can you describe really what it sounds like? Because without you trying it, it's going to be really hard to really give you a good idea to what it really sounds like. But I'm happy to report the fact that I'm getting good sound, like I'm listening to music, but I can still hear my surroundings around me because I may want to have it in that mode because I may need to be brought to my attention. Unlike when I'm wearing my Bose QC35 headphones, where you're pretty isolated because they're noise canceling. So the transparency mode does give you a nice feel where you can still hear around you, but still get good, decent fidelity.
But it's using a microphone, I think, right? It uses the built-in microphone to pipe the ambient noise into your ears.
The ambient noises are coming through the mic, and it's built into into it as well. So, but it's not distracting anything when you're listening to your music. So,
some people say it actually sounds like you're in a room listening to a speaker in a room.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So then you flip it into noise cancel mode, and for an earbud. I mean, you've used the Bose ones before. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
My son has a pair. Yeah.
And I have the Bose headphones. I'm telling you, I did fly with them a week or two ago when I was on the plane because I had them on the Wednesday they came out, and my trip was the next day, so the timing was spectacular. So I was able to try them right away. And I had my QC35s with me in my backpack. I didn't pull them out. I was perfectly happy. Using these,
you wouldn't. They're so much easier to deal with,
and it's so much easier to deal with. Yeah, exactly. The case itself is a little bigger than the old one, so it's more of a rectangular space, which was kind of weird. So they had to make space for it. So I guess because of the rubber cups, they ended up making it a little bigger than the old AirPods. But I'm telling you, I was super pleased. I watched some Netflix. I watched some movies on Amazon Prime, and listened to some music, and all excellent results, and I was very pleased with the sound.
Yeah,
so.
I'm definitely interested. I love my AirPods. I've had the first.
I love the old ones too. I still have them. So
and I had the second gen now, and on a plane, I've used them on a plane, and it's still pretty good. But since I love these, I'm sure I'll love the Pros even more. And it's the kind of thing where I'm not traveling now, and I'm pretty much just hanging out at home. And I have 2 HomePods in here, and I mostly just listen to podcasts anyway. So, it's just it would be a nice thing to have when the time's right.
And the other thing with the iPhone or the iPad, it does have it does do the cups test. It will actually test to make sure that you have a good seal in your ears, and it has the sensors that are in the AirPods that allows it to say, hey, you've made a good seal with your left ear and with your right ear. If it sounds good, the iPhone software is going to tell you you're solid. I had it where one of them wasn't, one of them was. Then I went in, put them back into my ear, and I was able to get it set, and now they're rocking. So
my CPAP machine does the same thing with my mask.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
There's like an app and it says, "Oh, you got a good seal for your mask to your face." Yeah.
And then the old AirPods, you used to do the tap to get action. On this, you actually grab and hold onto the drop down on the AirPod itself, and you could change it to noise cancel mode, because then you can on the fly change it to the different modes. If you want to change right to transparency, you just grab and hold and it switches. Or you can switch it to using Hey You, the S Lady, and you can actually have it do that as well. So full out features. I'm just very impressed. One of the things that kind of freaked me out at first was when I opened up the case, I was like, how do you get these things out of here? Because the AirPods themselves, it's always a challenge to get those out, right? Sometimes they never come out. And I thought for sure, oh great, now I'm gonna have to grab a hold of the rubber cup and pull it up. Well, actually, I saw a trick. You can put your index finger right at the very base of where the AirPod plastic is, and you kind of push it, and it comes out. So they actually did. At first, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a pain," but they did a great job of making it real easy to do it. So, anything else you have questions or thinks what everybody else would think about with the AirPods? And oh yeah, wireless charging, of course, or the wired charging. I don't do wireless charging with my AirPods. I never did.
No, me neither.
My old ones, I don't have. I have the old gen. I don't have the wireless gen. So I mean, I'm just perfectly fine just plugging in the lightning cable and charging them and be done with it. So battery life is. I've been noticing battery life is a little bit improved on these. You get about 5 to 6 hours of straight talk and listening time on them. So they've have made some improvements on that too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I have the second gen with the wireless charging case. I don't use wireless charging either. Plus, right. I don't know if you're gonna get like a case for it. Like I have this like little silicone case.
Yeah, I don't know if they have it
yet. Right, but everybody seems to get one, and when you get it, it blocks the light of the wireless charger charging indicator, so you can't really know if you actually So I don't use it for that reason because it doesn't really tell you if it's charging.
Got it.
So yeah, and it's not worth it. It's Lightning still, not USB-C. Right?
Yes, Lightning. Yeah, it's still Lightning. They haven't done USB-C as of yet.
No.
So
no, they're definitely on the list. See how soon.
Oh yeah, goes. I mean, I did as this episode will air, I did a gift guide with Chuck Joyner, Mac Voices, and it was going to be one of my picks, but someone stole it from me. Gosh darn it, Mark Fusio. But I was happy that someone picked it, and they were great. One good thing was I had some gift cards and I had some money to cover these, so these actually only cost me $96, so I can't complain.
Yeah, so, not bad at all. Good deal.
So I got a good deal out of it. So, all right. Well, unless you have anything else, we'll go ahead and move on to our next topic. Here is streaming services. Boy, it's been this topic has been hot lately. So, of course, November 1st, Apple TV Plus came out, and it came out with a lot of fanfare, a lot of shows. I'll be honest with you, I like the morning show. I started trying to watch. What was it called? All Mankind. I was falling asleep. I mean, and I think you're getting a lot of mediocre at best reviews of the top of the 4 shows they've had so far. Have you watched any of the shows yet?
Yeah, actually, For All Mankind is the only one I've watched all 4 of so far.
And you didn't find it to be kind of boring?
My wife and I got my wife into it too. They do the trick, right? Like that Netflix started doing, where it's not a great episode, but towards the end it's like something, it's just
okay.
Like
maybe I gotta give it a better shot.
Well, that's what it is. I mean, they end the show with like, oh, something big happens at the end, so now you got to watch the next one. The first episode was okay. The second one, not so much. The third one was a little better, and the fourth one was not good. So that's how it is. But we'll continue on. The concept was good. So I think we're gonna. My wife and I also want to watch the morning show, and I think we'll do that one.
I liked it.
Yeah, I'll do that. C is something I thought I wanted to watch at one point, and then I think I don't now. And then yeah, that's it. That's it. I mean, I'm getting it for free, so
yeah, same
I don't think I pay for it at this point. If we weren't, Apple's living on the reviews right now, and I know critics aren't to tell all and all that, but that's all they got. I mean, they only have what people are talking about, and the fact is, even though it's free or there's a trial, people are lazy and they don't feel like doing it if there's no real reason to. Even if it's free, they're not going to feel like signing up for it if there's no real reason to do it. So
there's been a lot of people buying devices, so a lot of people probably have it for free for a year. Whether you bought an iPhone, an iPad, an Apple TV, a Mac, any Apple device, basically, you get Apple TV Plus for free for a year. So that is their way of getting the eyeballs on watching the shows. Have you watched any other shows? Have you watched C yet with
no. No,
I haven't seen that one
Jason,
yet. What was
Jason
that?
Momoa.
Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa. Yeah.
Haven't gotten that. The Elephant Queen is another show.
Uh,
Um, there was another one. Dickinson, I think, is the other show.
some people said they liked that one. It looks kind of interesting to
Yeah.
me too. Um,
Snoopy in space.
yeah. The problem
But
is like I'm so behind in all the other shows that I'm trying
and
to
that's
watch
the problem.
too.
I think a lot of
So
people are finding it to be tough to.
overload. Yeah. It's
You're right. You're right.
first world problems now. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have enough time to watch all the shows you want to watch.
But what's great about it is you have opportunities to be able to watch on any device you have mobile-wise. And of course, we're iOS here. So on your iPhone, it was a great experience. I'm able to watch it. Great streaming, no issues. It was clean. On your iPad, of course, even better. Even if you have especially if you have the 12.9-inch screen, that's going to be nice to be able to watch it on there. I have 11-inch screen. Perfect. Beautiful. Then your Apple TV, of course, the app works nicely. And they got
that's how I watched it. I have
even easy to navigate.
I don't have the 4K Apple TV. I never got it because at the time I didn't have a 4K TV.
Yeah, I don't have a 4K TV either. So
but I watched now. I have a 4K TV, but the old not the 4K box, and it looked fine. It looked good. No problems with that. But you know, then you hear the news stories where Apple has the best quality streaming in the industry. So I'm like, all right, do I need to get the Apple 4K device? And I don't feel like doing that. And then I actually have a recent Fire TV stick, a 4K one that's supposed to get the Amazon, it's supposed to get the Apple app on it, the Apple TV, but I guess I got one generation behind where it's not on there. So I mean, it's like a blurry line. You don't know if you're. I mean, some TVs get it, some TVs don't. Some Roku boxes get it, some Roku boxes don't.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not that easy for consumers to know if they even have something on the big screen to watch it. But you know, Apple, like I think I said this before they even started this streaming thing, is their goal is to get this on every device that they don't care who brands it, who makes it. If they could if the technology is there for them to put their app on that device, they're going to try to do it. And that's what Netflix did, and that's what they're going to do. I mean, the only difference is Apple is a hardware vendor too, so people are like, they're going to put that on this, Samsung TV. It's shocking.
Oh, no.
Apple, I know, but they have to. I mean, people, they have to get it in front of everybody's eyes, and we'll see how it goes. I also think it's funny how most of the shows gave you the first 3 episodes, and then they release one a week after that.
Well, because people will binge watch, and then they have their trials done, and then
that's exactly it.
The end of
it. They were gonna, they got the 3 months trial, and so on that theory, I'm hoping that the shows get better as we go on a little bit, because as the trials start to end for people, they'll want to keep the service.
You would hope. So.
You would hope, yeah.
But then the other one that just released as of today, as we talked about, was Disney Plus, and there, of course. Oh yeah, if for Apple TV, for pricing, if you don't have a device, I believe there's a 7-day free trial, and then after that, it's $4.99 a month. Which, if you think about it, it's not terribly expensive. If you see some content that you like, try it for a month, see what it's all about, and then. If anything, you can cancel the service. I do that with CBS All Access. I mean, I just don't. I can't justify spending the kind of money that they want for the content. If all I want to really watch is Star Trek, we did Star Trek Discovery, and then of course Star Trek Picard's going to be out in January. So you're going to probably find me a CBS All Access subscriber again for a few months while those all play out. So
I think I did that, not Hulu. I did that with Epix. They were charging.
I don't understand Epix. Why? I mean, even on the cable services, they charge extra for it. I just $6. I'm not pay for Epix, really?
They had one show that we liked, and we subscribed until it ended, and that was fine. But they had Get Shorty, which was good. I watched The Mandalorian today. and
on Disney Plus. Okay, let me just kind of give Disney Plus. Excuse me. Let me kick in a little bit here about Disney Plus. If you go on to DisneyPlus.com, you can sign up for the service today. I signed up for the free trial. You get 7 days, and then after that, it's a $6.99 a month. Which, if you think about it, it's not terribly bad to have. Everything Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and National Geographic is the other content provider as well. And if you want, you also can get a package service where, if those of you who are subscribers to Hulu, you can include Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus, which is, I guess, is the extended version of ESPN, if you're a sports fan, for $12.99 a month. So I'm starting to seriously consider, looking at cutting the cord even more so, because some of these services are out there, and I know there's ways we can look at to seeing what to cut, but that's the pricing and the content. So, and you said which movie that you were watching, or was it a show?
It's a show. It's The Mandalorian, which is the Star Wars spinoff of. It's actually like the story of the place where Boba Fett was from.
Oh, that's right.
So he's they're called Mandalorians because I guess they're from Mandaloria. I don't know. They don't really describe it. But it's directed by the Jon Favreau, who does Jon
Favreau, yeah.
Yeah, he does the Avengers and the not so well rated version of The Lion King that I haven't seen yet. But it was good. I mean, it moved. It looked like Star Wars. I mean, it gave you the same feeling as a Star Wars movie for the most part. The effects were good. They're doing one. I read their schedule. They're doing one show every, like, the next show is in. They just dropped the one, so the next one's in 3 days, and then the one after that's a week after that, and then it's like. Not weekly. It's like kind of like whenever we feel like dropping it, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But it's so you can only watch the one at this time. But that might interest me in subscribing for it. Just watch that. The Disney catalog. I'm not a person who likes to watch movies more than once generally. So
okay.
Unless it's on TV, I'll watch it again. But I'm not going to watch the Star Wars again and again, and I'm not going to watch. Disney movies here and there. I like the original stuff. They're doing Lady and the Tramp, which looks funny. It's a live action Lady and the Tramp. So it's got stuff. I think that's the Apple's thing is all original content, all new shows. They don't have a back catalog. So that's fine with me because while the back catalog is nice and all, I got used to Netflix where like I would, sure. It'd be a night and I'm like, oh, I want to watch this. And then you type it into Netflix to try to find it. And they never have it. So I'm like, this is not working. And that's not what this service is for. This service is for something that you can't want to watch something and find it. It's right. You got to find it and then watch it to see how it is. Yeah.
Geez, I mean, they have all 30 seasons of The Simpsons. That's important.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I stopped watching after maybe 10.
I haven't watched it. It just blows my mind that show has got 30 years. About 1989.
The funny thing is, if you watch it now, you turn it on now and watch a little bit, it's still good. It's just, you just don't feel like watching it anymore.
Yeah, so the Pixar content is nice. The Marvel, of course, very popular. Where you got the Avengers and Captain Marvel and Iron Man and all the great stuff with Marvel. So they have quite a bit of content that might be a lot of fun watching. So check it out. You have a 7-day free trial. You can check it out and watch it. And these are just the latest of many of the streaming services we've talked about in the past, so it might be well worth you checking out. So, is there anything else on that?
No, I mean, take a couple months off from work and let us know.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So next topic we wanted to talk about a little bit is CarPlay. I'll actually let you jump in on this because you just had a good car shopping experience with your son, and And I would say the next car I buy is going to have CarPlay. So I'd like to hear what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, definitely. So before this, I had an experience with CarPlay probably about a year ago. I rented we went to Arizona and they gave us some kind of Chevy, and I played with it then. And I'm like, this is great, because the things you don't like about the cars before CarPlay was how outdated the instrument cluster becomes and the maps become obsolete after a year or two. So they all look great at first, but then they become dated. So I'm like, this is the future. This is what you need to do. So I knew I wanted it in my car. So I spent all sorts of time trying to research how to put it in my car, and it's not going to happen. So that's that.
I looked at that too. It's you got to buy a new car.
Yeah, it's like some people replace the head unit, and then there's these sketchy
not when
sites
it's an all touchscreen for including your heat and everything else. And air conditioning.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. It's so I have it now. I have a 2015 Audi, and it's I think maybe a year or two after they started with the CarPlay, but not my year. So So anyways, my son, he's 16. He just got his
lucky kid.
Yeah, he just got his license last week, and we knew we were going to buy him a car, and we were looking probably for something sort of not brand new, but not something recent model used. And I would whisper, like my wife would talk about cost and safety and all that. And I said, "Oh, just CarPlay. Yeah, so just put it in her head. And then she would get mad at first, like, no, that's not, I don't want you to focus on that. I'm like, listen, it's a safety thing. There, it reads out, your text messages. It reads out you don't have to like touch your phone. It's good. It puts on do not disturb. So we went on a couple test drives with a few cars, and they have CarPlay, and we play with it. And my wife was sold right away, and my son knew he wanted it because he's an Apple. He likes his Apple stuff.
Hey,
so
like father, like son.
Yeah, he has pretty much what I have at this point. So we found a car that we liked. It's a Chevy Equinox. It's like a mini SUV kind of thing.
I've rented one of those.
Yeah, it's nice. It was in our price range, and it has the CarPlay. And we played with it today and yesterday, and he loves it, and I love it. And the great part is, like, you could switch phones. I could drive his car, put my phone on, and it's basically
plug it in.
my personal CarPlay car. But he came back today, and he's like, I love this CarPlay. He's like, the maps just come up, my song. He's like, I didn't realize it just started playing my music. I'm like, yeah, it's just kind of, it knows. He's like, I got in the car and the map says, are you going to school? Do you want directions? How does it know that? I'm like, it just knows, it's crazy. So it's cool. And one funny thing with the CarPlay is we test drove one of the Kia SUVs, and the navigation screen, or the screen on the Kia, was kind of small and black and white. It looked horrible. Like, it just didn't look like, I'm like, that's terrible. And the salesman's like, oh yeah, hook your phone to it. And CarPlay started, and it was like, whoa! It was like, it looked like a totally different display. It took, took over. So, I mean, that, the car manufacturers must be like, this is great. I mean, I don't have to worry about polishing our systems up. So yeah, it's a keeper, and my next car is definitely going to have it.
Me too.
No matter what I'm going to make sure it does, because it's the future. Yeah.
Now, I rented a Dodge Challenger when I was in Vegas, and didn't expect to get that car. I was like, oh, cool, because I drive a Dodge Charger. But my car is a little old and has the old technology, and Dodge and Chrysler, they've all had the Uconnect forever. So I was like, oh, great. I wonder if this has CarPlay. I have to check it out. The one thing is, you do have to plug it in, and that's the one thing you do have to do. And that's, I don't know if that's good or if that's bad. The good thing is, like you said, anybody can plug their phone in, and anybody gets CarPlay loaded up right away as soon as you plug it in. With the Challenger on the CarPlay, you do have to tap CarPlay to get it to go over to the menu, because it does still utilize all the other menus that are available. But it is plugged in. But as soon as it plugged in, though, I was like, holy cow, this is just incredible, because I'm so used to being bad and looking at my phone while I'm driving. I shouldn't be doing that. Me too. But the music and the maps, of course, was big, because I always had to navigate, so the maps came right up. Right when I had to take my trip back to the McCarran Airport. It knew I was on the way there, and just tapped it, and there it went. I wanted to listen to a local radio station that I listen to from Chicago, and then it's on the radio.com app. I'm able to, app is right there, and the touchscreen, I don't have to fumble around on my phone, tap it, and able to play it right through the radio and be able to listen, because I want to listen to what's going on. So that's on there too. Same thing with podcasts. There are podcasts, even the third-party apps are compatible to CarPlay. Like Downcast is my favorite podcasting app. I was able to listen to podcasts right in the car. Phone calls, of course, amazing. Easy to do it. It did integrate into the. It did integrate the Siri into the system, so you can tap and hold the audio button on the steering wheel and say, "Hey, you," and say and be able to say commands right from the sound system that's built into the car. So. Well done.
We found that Siri actually is more, I don't know if it's just clearer or what, but she seems to understand a little better than normally. And, my son's like, I really want to use Waze instead of Apple Maps. And we couldn't find a way to make it default, but we found a way to move it to the home screen. But then we figured out if you say, hey, open, get me to school using Waze, that worked. It opened up Waze and it got brought up the directions to that. So and then as far as the cable thing, but there, I always charge my phone in the car too. So
I guess if anything, then that's the nice thing is anybody who has it, you can plug your phone in and it's got your stuff. Yep. So one funny note about Waze, I just discovered this last week. Someone had mentioned it. I don't know if you can change the voices on Waze. That they had Cookie Monster.
I heard. Yeah.
It was funny. I did it.
Did you do it?
I did it over the weekend, and I said, "Honey, let's go to." I went to the hockey game, and I said, "Let's use that so you use directions."
I think
1 mile, you get off exit. And I did hear some voices where it says. Then he said, "This is brought to you by the letter C. It's cookies. Nom, 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 nom."
I think Amazon lets you do Samuel L. Jackson. I got to do that one too.
But I think it was it was supposed to expire, because I think obviously they probably had like a set license with Sesame Street. Who knows? But it was funny. I mean, I don't know. I always get a kick out of Cookie Monster. So
well, maybe I'll do that to him and surprise him.
Yeah, if it's still there, I don't know if they may have pulled it.
I saw him be what the.
So unless you have anything else about CarPlay, let's kick in a little bit of some tips here. On the Apple Watch, have you utilized the Apple Watch Store app Store yet? You getting apps on your watch as of yet?
Once,
okay.
Yes.
I have a link to an in the show notes on an article on how to use the Apple Watch App Store. So it is kind of interesting. You are able to tap the App Store app, and then you go through through the steps. You have to make sure that your watch is on Watch OS 6. So if you have an older watch, I know the older watches were still pending updates if they haven't already got the updates 6.1. I think they finally got them. So the App Store on the Apple Watch is an app as a choice, so you can scroll down and you're able to scroll through the windows and pick your apps right from the watch. It wasn't like before where you had to go into the Apple Watch app to get to the apps to get it to sync those apps. So it does give you options as far as doing it. So as you scroll through, it does give you a icon that says it says Get, and you can get a short description and a star rating of the reviews, just like it is like you're on your iPhone or your iPad. So I was kind of excited to see this happen with being able to get to the apps. So you can scroll through, find out about it, find out about the information. You can go through and do specifics of what you want to download, if the app's free. So check it out because I think it's cool that you're finally able to control the apps. I don't know about you, but I don't use a ton of apps on my watch that would also be on my iPhone. Are you probably you like me?
I don't think I use any app on my watch, to be honest with you. I mean, it's mostly for calls, messages, notifications for me.
Yeah.
Fitness here and there, the built-in fitness stuff. But I haven't really found like any must-have. Even the apps that I thought I would use, like I have a Chamberlain garage that you could open with your phone. I thought maybe I would use that, but even that is convoluted too, so I don't do that. But they really are separating. You can use the App Store. You could also do software updates now from the watch without the phone. And I was outside today, and my watch beeped to me and said, "There's a hotspot here. Do you want to join it?" So you could join, Wi-Fi too. So it's definitely trying to be its own entity between the App Store and the updates and getting on Wi-Fi.
Yep.
Rather than depending on the phone, which is good. Man, that's what they try to. Every year they try to do that even more and more. So
yeah, absolutely. So so check that out. And next tips I wanted to talk about a little bit was a lot of people probably have concerns about whether your iPhone, your iPad, Apple Watch, it freezes up or stops working. I'm sure you've experienced that a few times because you're living on the cutting edge, Warren, with your beta testing. But
maybe not as much as it used to be, but yeah.
Yeah. Were you not going on beta? You taking a chill?
No, I'm on the beta. The betas are pretty good.
It's becoming more solid. So,
yeah,
but there are some experiences where unfortunately you do deal with your device freezing up. I'll have some links in the show notes on how to do. The first thing is the first thing you try. There's some steps that you want to go through. So the first thing you want to try is resetting your device. Well, in the case of an iPhone or an iPad for that matter. There's a way to reset your phone, and to power down the phone, it's a lot different now, especially on the newer any iPhone that was iPhone 10 and higher. You remember the magic way of doing that, Warren? It was as far as how to do
on the 10. I think you had the volume up, volume down, then hold down power. Maybe
hold down power, and then the power button will show up, and then it'll then. Then you'll just be able to just power it down. Now, if you want to do a hard reset, that's what we call a hard reset, or almost like a reboot, you do the volume up, volume down, and then hold the power button down and then just keep holding it until you see the phone shut off, and then keep holding it, and then the Apple logo will show up, and then that's what they call like a hard reset or a reboot. If you use it on go ahead.
Nintendo cheat code. Go ahead.
What's that?
It was like a Nintendo cheat code, up, down. How it used to go up, down, left, right.
Well, no physical buttons, so they didn't have a choice. You even have to do it on the iPhone 8, really, because the touch ID on the iPhone 8 wasn't really a physical button anymore either. So you had to go back to the iPhone 7 and older, where you could hold the home button and the power button at the same time, because that was a physical button. So those are how to reset it on the iPhone. Same thing applies to the iPad, where you do, even the Pro, where you have the no home button at all. You have to do the volume up, volume down, hold the power button on, do the reset, and then the older models it follows the same way. So it's pretty much the same between the iPhone and the iPad. Now, the Apple Watch, that's different. Now, to do a power down, you actually have to hold down what is it?
It's the square button.
The square button and the spinning dial. You hold those down together, and you keep holding until you see the power button come on to power it down. And the same thing, you just keep holding them until the watch shuts off, and then keep holding them until the Apple logo shows up, and that's a hard reset. So I really gave you a description of all three devices, how to do a hard reset of your device. That's the first thing you troubleshoot, and then hopefully everything's hunky dory, so you have no problems and you can move on and do your things. Another thing you should check all the time is make sure you update your system software and your apps. Go into the App Store and make sure all the apps are always up to date. Because and you can set them to be to update automatically through your iOS device. So it's important to make sure that they're up to date. You don't want old versions of apps because developers have to upgrade them for a reason. And most of the time it's because Apple's made a change or something has caused a bug. So that's why they do that. Same thing with system apps, system software. We just talked about it with 13.2.2. Make sure you have the latest and greatest version of the not beta software, and do that as well. And you are able to check for updates. They did change the way you check for updates now. You actually have to go in when you go into the App Store. You actually tap your picture. You go into the App Store and then you tap your little icon of you, the picture on the top right, and that brings up the list of where all the apps are waiting to be updated. So I've mentioned that in previous episodes.
There's a trick. Is there
a new shortcut now that I'm aware of?
Yeah, I wasn't aware. So I just was aware a few days ago. If you long press the App Store icon,
Really?
and then there's an updates. There's an update. Long press.
Look at that! I did. This is why we do this podcast, because we learn these things.
Yeah, I started doing it that way. So that
so you
works.
tap and hold. Oh, there you go. All right, I didn't know that. So I'm gonna have to put that in the show notes.
A lot of people. That's one of the questions I get a lot too. Is I can't figure out how to update my apps anymore after iOS 13. They didn't really make it obvious because who would have thought to tap on your profile picture to update your apps?
We'll definitely put that in the show notes to see. I wasn't aware of that either. See, the first time we've learned something from each other here.
There you go. I learn stuff from you all the time.
We learn from each other here. That's what we're here for. Is always learning, and never can know everything. It's impossible. So that's the way of updating the apps. The other thing to check too is as far as your device if it's freezing up. If you have an iPhone that's got limited space, like a 64 gigabytes is the one now. If you got some of those old phones, oh gosh, time for you to upgrade if you have a 32 gigabyte. Kill me now. Remember the old 16 gigabytes? Hey, anybody has 16 gigabyte, you might as well just throw in the towel these days. But you should free up space. The biggest thing is videos, photos. And one thing you also should be aware of is iMessage and messages. My gosh, I can't believe how many messages people store. I think I looked at my wife's phone. She had 17 gigs. She has 17 gigabytes worth of stored iMessages sitting on her phone right now. I said, that's crazy. You got to delete these things. They take up space.
What is she taking, like HD videos? And
or people are sending her stuff.
Yeah. Mine's pretty clean. Yeah, I got 267 meg.
Yeah, mine's not too bad either. But that's another piece as far as troubleshooting it. And if all else fails, I hate to say it, and this is the worst case scenario, is you may have to reset your iPhone or your iPad. Make sure you have a backup, and I can't stress that enough. As long as you're on iCloud and you're paying for iCloud, people this day and age, please pay for iCloud. 5 gigabytes isn't going to cut it. The free service, you got to pay for it. Pay for at least the 20 gigs. You'll be happy, and you'll be happy to tell me later that you got the larger space for iCloud. And then
it will prompt you if you just letting people know if you're
out of space.
Right? If you go to wipe your phone too. If you go to so you go settings, general, and then reset, and then erase all content and settings. It'll say, "Do you want to back up now?" So we'll give you a prompt and says, "Are you sure you want to do this before you should really back up?"
Absolutely,
which is good. Yeah.
100%. So, and then of course there's the dreaded. If it isn't fixed, then you got to go to Apple. Go to the Apple Store. Take it in, have them check it. They're great because you go to the store. Unfortunately, they are busy. So I've found that you can't even make an appointment anymore. You just got to walk into the store and say, "Hey, I need to get on the list." A lot of times it's an hour or more you have to wait. So you come back, get on their list. They'll text you back, say, "Hey, we're ready for you," and then you come back. And they'll do diagnostics. They test everything. I hear the the audio sounds all the time, all the time when I'm in the stores, because they're testing phones constantly to test the sound and all the other diagnostics that they do on the phone, and they'll be able to test and tell you right away if there's a problem with your phone. So don't hesitate to do that. And that's what's great about owning iOS devices. Apple is so great at helping us fix our devices. Think about an Android device. If you had an Android device, tell me where you're going to go to get that thing fixed. Your carrier?
If you have an hour and a half, I'll tell you my Samsung story, but we'll do that another day. Yeah, trying to get that thing fixed was
a Samsung, like a Galaxy.
I had a tablet. It was a Galaxy Tab S4 with a keyboard, and the keyboard broke. This is a long story short. The keyboard broke. I sent it to Samsung after chatting with them. They sent it back to me without doing anything. I went back and forth about a week or two. The next day I went to Best Buy and they gave me a brand new one. So, I mean, Best Buy good, Best Buy work, but there's just no way. There's no.
It's hit or miss. So, so there were some tips there, right, for you, just to be aware of dealing with a frozen device and how to resolve some of those problems. Hopefully those tips were helpful to you and make it easy for you to resolve some of the problems that you have with your device. Hopefully, knock on wood, you're not having a lot of problems. I have to say that for sure. So, as we get close to the end of the show here, I had some picks for the week. I don't know, Warren, I don't want to put you on the spot. Has there been any apps that you've been using as of late that are new, or something that maybe you are using more often than normal?
In fact, there is. Yeah, there's I was thinking about this as we're going. Well, Find My is my new friend. Because now I have a licensed driver who is leaving his house by himself for the first time.
Right.
And I'm able to literally track where he's going in his car. I could follow him to school, make sure he gets there, and make sure he gets back. I could create a notification, which my wife and I started doing, that will notify me when my son is at school and will notify me when he is at home, which we're both doing now. So that is if you're a parent and you're worrying about all these tracking applications or car stuff, the Find My app, you have to turn on sharing on your son. It's up to you and your wife whether you want to share your location with each other. We are not at this point, but we talked about it. But he is definitely sharing it, so it's definitely
16 years old. I don't think he has much of a choice.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have the choice. We have the choice, and
so he's not gonna be tracking where you are.
My wife's like, why aren't we? Can I see where you are? Like, well, we have to turn it on, and it's up to you. We could do it if you want. And she's like, I guess we can. And then we kind of I changed the subject real fast, and we're still not sharing location at this point. So
I've kind of done the same thing. I didn't even bring it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, she didn't even know that you could do it until I showed her about my son, and of course, I wanted to show her that because she's stressed out because she can't sleep because she's worried about my son getting to school and all that. So I'm like, look, technology, we could see where he is, and she's like, oh, can I see where you are? No, it doesn't work like that.
Oh my God!
So there you go.
That's great.
Find My, not Find My phone, not Find My.
No, it's now called Find My.
Find My. Yeah.
They've done a much better job of with this app too. It's a lot more robust and easy to get to, and I agree with you.
And if they ever come up with those tiles that they talk about, one will definitely go in his car as well.
Yeah,
just in
hide
case
it.
He doesn't have his phone. Yeah. Oh no, I'll put it right in front of his face.
No, I used the Find My Friends at the time before 13 was out when I was in Italy, and it came in handy. I mean, we could all see where we were at, and so in case, especially when you're in a foreign country, international, definitely comes in handy to set that. Because basically what Find My was, it incorporated you're finding your device as well as Find My Friends, and now they used to have it as two separate apps. Now it's all one app. So so it's good stuff. A couple apps I just kind of threw out there. I haven't used them heavily, but I wanted to mention Photoshop for iPad is out. Do you have a license for Adobe Photoshop at all, or?
We have. My son actually has the Adobe suite for
for
the
school?
computer.
Oh,
Not for the iPad, but
Creative Cloud.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, you can use it. You can use it on your iPad too.
Can you?
Yeah. So I have a Creative Cloud license through work, so I can try. I could try it for testing. So I would do it just for demo to see how it is for what the user experience is going to be, and it's pretty awesome. You can, as long as you have an Adobe account and you have a Creative Cloud account, you sign into it and then full out Photoshop.
I'm not very artistic.
Nor am I, and I'm not big into using Photoshop, but they demonstrated during WWDC and showing how cool that was, and I still haven't had time to play with it yet, but I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that it is available now for the iPad. For those of you who are artistic and use Photoshop, check it out. Get it on your iPad and see if it's going to come in handy for you for that. So the other app I was going to mention, but actually it's in beta, is Office Mobile. What Microsoft has done is they're actually working on merging all the apps under one app. So Office Mobile will have everything, including Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook. I think Outlook. They may not put Outlook because it's email, but so they're beta testing it right now. I don't know if you got into that beta yet, because the beta is full right now.
I didn't. I do betas on the Office for Mac all the time.
Yeah, me too.
Which
I got to ask you what you think about the new update to Outlook. I'm very happy actually on Mac. It's a lot more streamlined. So
on the Mac, I haven't opened it to be honest since the update. I'm going to try it out.
We'll have to talk offline there. Different topic.
I use Apple Mail mostly, but I should check.
I do both because I support Outlook for Mac, so I have to. That's how I am. I have to use the products that I'm supporting. And
well, that's what I do with Office too. Basically, I open it, I update it, and then I close it. I don't do much. I don't do much writing and spreadsheet person and all that stuff. But no, I'm going to check out the. Do you need a license for the Office for the beta for the iOS?
No, but if you go to try to get it, it says beta is full. So you won't be getting a beta. So there is an app you can download it, and it has to go through Test Flight, which is the beta, as you know, Test Flight is.
Right. I have a Facebook beta Test Flight, which I play with here and there. But
yeah, so they did have an Android version too, but of course we don't do Android here. We're iOS, right?
Not at all. Not at all.
Do you have anything else you wanted to bring up to this for this episode? I think we covered quite a bit. This go around.
No, we did pretty good. No, CarPlay is great. Watching lots of TV, awesome.
Yeah, you're gonna watch. What our goal was for this episode is watch lots of TV and get a car with CarPlay. You have to do it.
Yeah.
And have a lot of fun. And Warren, I can't thank you enough for being here. I can't thank you enough for agreeing to be part of this madness, as we call it, In Touch with iOS, and being the co-host. And like I said, we're going to have a lot of fun with this. There might be from time to time we have guests that come on with both of us.
That'd be great.
I've already talked to a few people who are interested in coming on, so I think we'll have a lot of fun here. And I think this is really going to be a lot of fun to do a lot of great discussion about iOS and Apple, because we all love it. So
I need somebody to talk tech to. So
exactly, yeah. And we do shout out to Guy Cyril, because he is our guy too, because we are on the Mac to the Future Go live cast, and so we do have fun with that too. But he keeps
us humble. So we like him and we like doing the show, but his show is definitely more on the
news side,
the news and the
politics,
not political, but politics. Yeah, so it's more, which is good. I mean, it's more of a like an overview of technology in general with Apple. But as we go on, would love to get to a point where people who also have a good knowledge of tech would want to listen to us and kind of join in on
Absolutely.
that too.
Yeah, we do that live on Facebook, on the Mac to the Future site, as well as Guy's feed. So we're always sending out links on that through Twitter. So Warren, go ahead and tell everybody how people can get a hold of you. And I know just Facebook, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I have ways to contact me, but
And Twitter.
To date, Twitter, I'm W Sklar, and I think I'm Warren.Sklar on Facebook to find me. But the Mac to the Future page, if you're into Apple,
Yes,
and into technology, and could want to join a group that's not just like people asking for tech support constantly, but they can, and we enjoy that too. But it's we like to discuss the implications and like to have a lot of fun. It's very loose and very light.
it is.
Can be heavy, but it's mostly light.
I was I'm glad I found you guys, because that's how you and I met, through the Mac to the Future Facebook page, and of course through Guy. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. We definitely are out there. And Warren is a madman. He answers. I mean, as soon as I turn around, I always see him answering questions, which is great. I love it. He's a moderator, and that's like, what he does.
People ask how to contact me, and I kind of shrug it off. But literally, if you go on Facebook and join a group, you got to
be a Facebook person, though.
I don't leave.
He doesn't. He's there. I can attest to that. So. All right, let's wrap these things up. That is a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address at feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter @intouchwithios. You can also subscribe in your favorite podcatcher, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, and even iHeartRadio. Or better yet, go to our website at intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Twitter @DaveG65. And again, thanks, Mr. brand new co-host Warren Sklar, for being here.
Thank you for having me. I
enjoyed
it.
And we'll be back together again soon. Thanks for listening.